So Keith, so you got that phone call. It's quite something, isn't it, to get a phone call from Prince Harry asking you to do something that is going to be a lot of organisation. How did you go about it, turning that into this vision that he had?
Well, first of all, I heard the story, but to be honest, I knew little about the armed forces. Like most people, they're tucked away somewhere, and certainly I'd never been exposed to the effects of that a lot of the people in this room will have seen close up. And I think the thing that frightened me most when Prince Harry told me about his vision was he wanted to pull it off in 10 months. And as I just spent the best part of 8 years organising the Olympic Games...
Well, you, if anybody, could do it.
Actually, the first thing I did, I was going on holiday the next day, so we had a cup of tea on a Thursday, and I went on holiday on the Friday. And I spent most of my bloody holiday on the telephone calling one or two people in this room because we had this idea, not much else, frankly. No, it wasn't called the Invictus Games then. We had no money, we had no people, we just had a very good idea. And actually what really did it for me, Prince Harry suggested, because I really didn't understand the impact of injuries in the way that he did, he took me down to Headley Court, if you remember. And he and I went to Headley Court, which is a recovery centre in the UK, for me to meet some of the guys that had come back from Afghan and from Iraq. And that was a profound time for me. I mean, that really...
That'll seal the deal.
He's a great salesman, you know. But actually, when we started, we needed to call in a lot of favours. And I remember suggesting that the thing we needed early on was to get the Olympic Park, because that's where all the facilities were. And that was controlled by Boris Johnson, our mayor at the time. And so the next cup of tea that Prince Harry organised was a cup of tea with Boris Johnson and myself and Prince Harry, and he twisted Boris Johnson's arm quite hard to allow us to use all the facilities in the Olympic Park at no cost, which was a great... This is the first part of the commercial plan, right, that we... But no, look, we called on a huge number of people who went way beyond what would normally be possible to pull off the first games, and none of us really knowing where the first games was going to take us. But it was phenomenally successful, and that's the reason we're all here today.
Tell me about the core values that you had then and are still valid now.
One of the early decisions we made in one of the first meetings we made was that these games should not just be about those that have served, but should be about their families. You know, those that have been injured or become sick or wounded, their families go through the trauma as much as they do, and they're going through the recovery in many cases in the same way as they are. And so from the very beginning, we built into our plan the fact that every competitor would be allowed to bring a couple of members of the family at no cost to them, because we thought that was such an important part. And actually, since that early decision, that part of what the Invictus family does has grown. The family has become increasingly important in the recovery, and we'll talk about this later today, about what happens after a games, and the family are there after the games, and supporting them is just as important.
Thank you.